Hello everyone and welcome back once again to Gary Grigsby's War in the East. Let's continue where we left off in turn 16 here. I previously did make this encirclement and well, I guess currently we're ready to continue. What I want to do is get a lot of artillery over in the 51st Corps. One other thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to get the Romanian 3rd Corps over here. And I want to put the most powerful Romanians in there. And I want to jam all artillery, etc., into the 3rd Romanian Corps. So any artillery that I have anywhere, I'll put under the 3rd Romanian Corps. Because the 3rd Romanian Corps is going to go to Sevastopol. And yeah, so as I said, I'm going to try to get that chock full. Any other corps that I have. Let's see, so the 3rd Romanian Corps, at the very least, I want to not have them include this Romanian Cav. For starters. And the cavalry should be under the Cavalry Romanian Corps, which I'm also going to move further up. There we go. It's currently overburdened, but I'm gonna remove some infantry from it. Could take one more hex, but hex is pretty unimportant. There are a few things that I need to do here, though. There are 2 infantry units here, and they have at least 2 airfields. The problem is that they have another unit here, which is in the way, and I actually feel like I'll probably have to route that. So we'll also have to deal with that. Okay, so the 1st Guards should be under the 3rd Romanian Corps. They also have this stuff, that's fine. Because they are going to assault anyway. Then you are not going to be under the... actually, you can. You'll be fine. Sure. So the 1st Mountain Brigade is actually quite powerful. I'm going to put that under the 3rd. It's currently under the Mountain Romanian Corps, but I'll switch that up later. And that means that these guys should be put under the 5th. Just as much as these. Okay, so you have 4 out of 9. The 1st Romanian Infantry Division hasn't fought yet, so that's good. No! Ah! Alright, well, I'll put it under the 3rd later. That's 2, so that means that there will then be at 6. No. Can I put them under the 3rd Romanian Corps here? Not yet. But probably if I move them here, I can. To be careful not to put it under the 3rd Romanian Army. Okay, so at this point, they're at 8. So I can only take one more Romanian Mountain Brigade, unless I remove the Cav. This corps is already overburdened, so I'm not going to put it under that. I'll have to actually disconnect the Slovakian Mobile Division, which I will. I'll just put it under the 11th Army for now. It's just going to be stationary. And that at least means that this corps is no longer overburdened, and I can actually put that Cav under that corps without incurring serious penalties. This will allow me to get the 3rd Romanian Corps, one more actual division, because it's currently at 5, plus this one is 7, which will allow me to take it up to 9. I'm just looking for the most powerful, most fit of the units. And most likely, let's see, you're at 14,000, 10,000. So I'm definitely looking for the ones with the most men. I guess there would be the 5th Romanian Infantry. Let's get you out of there. And let's put you under the 3rd. Alright. Yeah, of course. You already have a Pioneer, some machine gun battalions. I'm also assigning them support units, just wherever I can. This will also make them a little bit more powerful for when they go and attack, eventually. Okay, so all of these are going down, whereas these other ones, they are going to move up. They are severely disorganized at the moment as well. There's also no possibility of using the rail, so since there is no rail down here. And oh, I guess that's kind of sucky, but Italian's gonna move further up. There we go. Still need to move a bunch of HQs here. Their supplies will be abysmal at best. This corps is under the 4th Romanian Army, and the 4th Romanian Army is here. Whereas the 3rd Romanian Army, no, they actually still have a lot as well. Alright, well, let's move you into Kherson for now, and the other one in Nikolaev. I'll put the 11th Army in Genichesk. Technically, I have a supply depot there, so maybe I'll actually be getting supplies. It's kind of unlikely, but you never know. Okay, so indeed the situation at the Crimea is as follows. I'm trying to get another Romanian corps in there with some beefed up units. I still need to put the remainder of the artillery under the 3rd. Well, actually I want to strip all of these with all the artillery. One corps is nothing. 2nd Romanian Corps needs to hand everything over to the 3rd. Ooh, Pioneer Battalion. Nice. Let's take a look at that army. It has nothing. 3rd Romanian Army has nothing. Good. Let's take a look at these other ones. You should be getting rid of that. There's no need for this Frontier Romanian division to have that. Especially the Pioneer Battalion should be going to the 3rd. Sevastopol is another one of those places which will be a tough nut to crack, just like Odessa. But I guess we're gonna have to put some extra effort. I'll have to remember putting that a Pioneer Battalion out of there. You have nothing. Here's just some machine gun battalions. Let's see. Yeah. What kind of anti-tank guns do these anti-tank companies have anyhow? Probably 45s. 47s. Okay. That's probably the best they can do. 47mm. Okay. I thought they had 45s. Oh well. So we... yeah, so now I also want to do pretty much the same for the third car. I can probably not send them to the 54th, but let's see. No. So let's just send them into the 11th Army itself. Let's also do the Panzerjäger Battalion. Okay. Might still be useful. There's one other corps. Maybe you guys can send it to the 54th. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And I'll send the Pioneers to the 54th as well. There we go. So they're a bit more beefy now also when it comes to things like artillery. And I can also assign them directly to these units. I also have a Stuck battery in OKH. Sure. Why not? I also have all of these on refit. And let's actually take a look at the depots, because it's very likely, yeah, I'm better off doing this. So the HQ is directly on the depot here. That'll probably benefit me somewhat more. Alright, well, basically, I don't think there's anything from the 11th Army that I can send directly down, and that is indeed the case. So... the one thing though that I should probably do is at the very least get you to move one hex to the back so they can rest and refit currently. Now that I've actually taken that Kurch hex, I also want to... Okay, I cannot build a fortification unit, probably because I took that this turn. Yeah, so now we have this core. And one of the things that I want to do at the very least is take this airfield. I'll cross with you guys. Basically, I want to, at the very least, create a double encirclement, so to encircle Zaporozhye, cut them off from any supplies, which technically I could do here as well. I want to take as much territory here as possible to make it as unlikely as possible that I'm going to get cut off. Or something similar. Since I definitely want to be able to advance as much as possible from this position. Now, very likely they're not going to do anything on this side, but what I'll do is I'll Actually, it's just keep them in here. And just get these guys on refit. Or, yeah. So they're just gonna relax for a bit on this side. Make sure that they don't get out. Not that they're very likely to. Yeah, that's probably for the better that way. Okay, so at least the Romanians are somewhat catching up, because these guys are doing all the territory taking at this point. Yeah, we're getting way too close to November, so sure, I'm actually pretty close to Stalino and Rostov, but I'm already getting delayed on Stalino again as well. I mean, I technically have 2 more turns to take it, but how likely is it gonna be that I will? I don't think it's very likely. So yeah, that is a bit of a problem. So I will try to route them. Yeah. Okay, well, that's a soft attack. Or, that's a first attack, I suppose. Let's get into Pavlovgrad and attack them a second time. Okay, they're out of it. That's fine. I mean, I know it's not a surrender, but they are so much in the way of me grabbing this territory. Yeah, that's just really no good. I'm a bit afraid of these guys, to be honest. So I'm also going to use these guys as blocking. They have an airfield here. That's kind of the problem. Last recon on turn 1, huh? Okay. So now you will at the very least move up like this. I still need to grab that hex. If I want to work on the rail line, and you cannot move in here. The only unit that can technically go there is this one. How likely are they to cross and then do something else? I actually think it's extremely unlikely. Let's just go. We'll be fine. And like I said, I do need to get that rail line working. Even though this way, obviously it's not the most effective, but now I'll be moving up here and I'll work on my way to Kharkov. At least I get the rail across for now, although I'm so far away that these guys probably don't get a whole lot of supply. Okay, so I'll have one corps, the 52nd, that will try to hold this particular area up here. So what I'll do is move them in here and then up. You probably should just be getting into Kharkov here. There we go. I'll switch up the units a little bit later. Like this light division, I will also just go and send up. Okay. Sure. And you'll be moving into this direction. So that's pretty much this HQ. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I want to get this HQ as close to the rail line as possible while I still can. Okay, next. Since movement is pretty much the same, I just want to skim from those hexes any territory that I can grab. Let's just have this cavalry deal with it. You cannot take any of those hexes, that's fine. Alright, I, at the very least, need a unit like this one to just hold the line again on this side. At least 2 hexes. Ah, that's great. They routed from the tank division. Ugh. It's a good thing they don't need to attack this turn, but you just gotta be their own refit, and like me advancing on this currently, just not super useful. The only thing that I do need to take is Chaplino. Take that airfield and then just keep him here. Let's put you in on reserve. They might take back that airfield, sure, but then at least they're moving, and the Soviets also should be getting supply before doing anything else. So now, at least for this turn, they're not getting their regular terms of supply, I suppose. Let's move you 1 back, though. The reason for that is that otherwise they can move up here with impunity, and that would be a problem. And now they're kind of boxed in by my zone of control either way. They can't teleport because they're isolated, so they have to use regular movement. They might be able to link up here, but that's not something that I care about, so that is fine. Okay, moving in this hex doesn't really matter. I'd rather have them keep some of their points. Okay, next up in here, and that rather means 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the closest to the rail line as they can go. We already know they still have some units in there, but I'm not particularly worried about those. Right, you can go in here, which is probably their best bet for now. Although that does suggest 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have to move you up significantly. It might allow me leeway to at the very least move either of those at that point. I'm taking things a bit slowly because I don't want to make any mistakes here. Any unit that can get in Belgrade? Yes, you can. You. Or I could actually take Lopan. I'll put them at 2. Probably best to leave the Panzers in Belgrade alone for the moment. I can actually see these guys still retreat on the next turn, but by taking this, it might be that the trucks just have a little bit more leeway to get there. They're on refit. I don't expect much, but there might be something. Okay, so you can move quite a bit, and I definitely want to exploit it. Well, it's not really exploiting. Let's get you in here. And at that point, I'll take you. They would have a difficult time getting in through here at this point anyhow, and I don't really see them do it. Let's just go. That will most certainly put them in Kharkov itself. The HQ, that is. Not this one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yeah. I might be able to get the rail line up till here or here on the next turn, so it's certainly gonna take quite a while before it gets to Kharkov even. Did I actually work on the rail line already here? Yes, I did. There's still some stuff, or a lot of stuff that I need to do in the other places. Army Group South just generally is the biggest of all of them. In that sense that they just have to do the most. Let's actually take a look whether we get any reinforcements. Seems like we do. 227th Infantry Division. I actually want to send that over to the center. Let's get them to Smolensk. It seems like I'll have most trouble there. Anyhow. Yeah, so probably best to just keep it there. Right, getting to Kursk at this stage might actually be out of reach for the moment. This is actually pretty sucky. The way they teleported like this, I really hate it, because there's very little way they could have actually taken that. Under normal circumstances, they would have to kill my units, or at least make them rout, and because they teleported, yeah, it's just a bunch of bullshit. I keep saying it every single time, and I know that, you know, you get tired of that, but it's just, yeah, it's just really excessive, to the point that, you know, it's kind of ruining the gameplay at that. Alright, so now I need to move up with the Panzers. It seems from I don't think this will help me see anything. The most likely crossing would be here, since here I would have to fight across the river at Oboyan. And that's not necessarily the best solution. My best moving units, this is 20, 22, it's obviously this one. 16th Panzer is going to have to cover the miles. Pretty much. You guys are not doing anything else. Basically, getting to Stelino and Rostov at this point is going to be an infantry slog. At this point. That helps. That too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You cannot go further back. And just gonna go into the 17th. As long as my HQs are plenty, these guys now pretty much have nothing to do. I think that's fine though. But just have to kind of see how to fit everything in. In all honesty, I don't really think I need these guys on this side anymore. I'm rather inclined to start moving them up. They don't really contribute a whole lot in this section, I feel. So I'll just work my way up there. Allows me to take that city just a little bit earlier. Means you get to move up. Getting this rail line now at this point is quite useless. But anyway, could do some attacks over here, over here. Yeah, they also still have a supply hack, so that makes it tricky, and they could still move. So I'm not super pleased about that. One thing I could do is just try to move straight in here. They'll probably have a unit in Dyatkovo, but that would maybe get me an encirclement a little bit closer to home. Well, I'll have to see. Yeah, let's just straight up work with the south only for now. I'm getting distracted. That's pretty bad. So I need to get through here, and that means that I just kind of have to do the attacks with Viking. Okay, so I need to get the different HQ, which is this core. Move you up. Let's put you under that core. Okay, they have two. Let's get 11th Panzer, which is obviously very weak now, but still. They're routed. Okay, this suggests that I need to beat them. This puts them at 6, them at 14, so they get to move a lot further. Oh, okay. Kind of sucks because I did not intend for the both of them to move there. One thing that I actually rather dislike is this cavalry in here. Let's just push it aside for the moment. And see how far we can go. So now that we got this, we already know that they, if we look at the rail, okay, it's impossible, so let's take away these units. We know there's no rail running from here to here, so in terms of supply, at this stage, any Soviet unit in this area technically should be running on trucks. 740. Moving in further along doesn't necessarily help me, but we do have to assess that the likelihood of getting to Kursk itself is extremely low. One other thing that I could do, yeah, there's also no actual road here. Although, how much is the movement on road? That's 2. So if I go here, 9, 7, 7, 5, probably 2, 0. So I can get either then to Trasna, which is a lot further. Again, it doesn't help me up here. Whereas if I go here, there'll probably be... This is not Swamp Hex, right? So I can probably get up to this hex, taking this. Which brings me very close, but I'm quite sure I cannot reach that yet. It seems very unlikely that I will. So those are basically the choices. 16th Panzer is pretty much always going to be... I'm gonna think about this for a bit. And see what I can do with these guys before committing with 16th Panzer. It's very tricky regardless, but if there is a chance that I can snag a significant portion of these units, that's, you know, it's got to be like 200,000 or similar at least. Of course, a whole bunch of tanks. At least it would put me marginally close to, you know, historical areas. I'm saying marginally close, since I would actually still have to push all this. Like, I'm actually behind by a lot still. Despite being able to do that. So that's actually pretty tough. Alright, let's just deal with Army Group North for a little bit, because I feel that doing that might be a little bit easier for now. Sweet, and even route it in there. And since I'm going to cut them off now, that'll be excellent. Let's try it. It's okay. It did. Nice. I have to actually be careful because for the rail line, it runs like this now. Well, let's attack these guys again. So put a 1. So moving in here will not allow me to move back. Let's just go. The most important thing is that they don't get into Divenskaya, because I would cut my rail this way. That would be rather unfortunate. If I attack here, I can't. Okay, never mind that. Probably this hex will succeed to me regardless, but it is still something to be a little bit worried about. Ford 132. They're all ready. Well, they are on refit. They should have somewhat less activity now, I would say. So the hope is that that way things will be a little bit better. No, that doesn't help. I was thinking maybe I can move into these hexes, but that answer is no. Okay. The goal is to continuously keep all these hexes covered, at least so the Soviets will not get any ground. And as Politsai is coming around here, I will let Politsai take individual hexes around this area too. Another somewhat important thing, although the Soviets still have way too many of these airfields. Yeah, that's not helping in any way. The most important thing for me is to get infantry up. Because I will most likely have to juke it out. Alright, let's put you in reserve here. These guys might feel frisky getting an attack in. And I want to have some panzers at the ready. That's still going to be super risky. One other thing that I think would be interesting is actually... This is kind of weird, but I can move the 122nd here without repercussions, really. Basically, what I'm doing now is, if the Soviets are giving up this territory, I guess I'm just taking it. The reason why I don't actually mind taking this is the I'll stay in this hex. I don't actually want to advance too much here. And these guys are weak anyhow, so maybe no, splitting them up makes them too vulnerable. They had a rail line going up till here. Technically now that rail line is cut. As it is, they only have this one rail line to Tikvin. I won't have any illusions about taking that, but yeah. Okay. Let's actually move you up. I also don't foresee them attacking here. And this is so... this is real defensive territory as well, this hex. I'll actually also build a fortified zone in there. So, if this then should fall, then I can always retreat back. Another thing that would be really great is if, yeah, they still retreat from this area. I mean, this is super defensive terrain. I don't really see them retreat that quickly, but you never know. Well, I'll gladly add another division over here. I'll have to do that by rail. But we'll see how that works out. Either way, that, I guess, wraps it up for this time. I'll finish this turn in the next one. You would think that because the front line gets a little bit more static, we'll have less things to do, but that's actually not true. It seems like we still have significant work to do. Although there are... I mean, if I were have to rate the way things are going so far, I would say there are some successes that I like so far over German historical progress. So, for example, me actually already being in a better position around Leningrad. We have pretty much taken what the Germans took historically, except I guess this part in here for the moment. Like, we still have to push here, but with them being cut off now, that's not really going to be that big of a problem. Yeah, Schlieselberg has not been captured, but we cut them off a little bit further. I also think this is a lot safer. Another thing that I definitely want to do is create more fortified units here. This is costing me a lot of AP, but these are hexes that I will defend to the teeth. Even if I progress a little bit further, it's probably still good to be able to fall back on that, especially during the winter. Now, that might sound a little bit defeatist, but we have to keep in mind that War in the East is not a game necessarily that has in mind that the Germans will win. And we have to keep it as a very realistic scenario that the Germans indeed will not win. So, to that end, I will have to take precautionary measures at places where I think, at least for 1941, I will not advance that much further. And being able to at least dig in throughout October and November a little bit around this area should hopefully help me survive through the winter a little bit better. Okay, let's move you up here. I still need to shuffle these around a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can actually be put under the 23rd Corps for the moment. 23rd. Oh, that is really. I put on the 28th. That was dumb, but it should still be fine. Okay, good. Let's move you up though, because we have plenty of infantry there that actually needs this. Let's move you into Liuban. Yeah, okay. These HQs are, for all intents and purposes, as close to the rail line as possible. Now that the Soviets no longer have a unit here, I should actually be able to make use of that rail line now. The one also other positive thing about being 1 hex further from Starya Russa means that I will be able to use this rail line further down and then in here. Otherwise, I believe I would not have been able to. There's actually 1 more hex here. Yeah, once this is done, I'm gonna ship a 4th over to the south to start working on rails there. Especially double rails. That has to be the best option there. Very soon, I will have potentially at least, I'll have a rail line working at least up till here and then into Gomel. Ideally, then moving its way up to Kursk. At least before the 1942 offensive, I do hope to have all the double rails, at least. There are quite a few double rails further down in the south, especially as I want to have one into the Crimea. But that will take some significant time at the very least. Yeah, so like I said, that's kind of a little bit of a roundup here. I want to thank everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please do leave a like, comment, or subscribe. A special shout out to all my Patreon supporters for supporting me over all this time. Thanks for watching. Take care, and bye-bye.